Today I'm going to discuss sexual education in schools and teen pregnancy, the emotions, guilt, and shame that they feel.
My heart is beating so fast I can hear it. This can't be true. I've ruined my life. All my plans, all the time invested. Yesterday was so different. I could see the next 4 years laid out so perfectly. Today, I can't see the next moment. I just want it to stop. Breathe. Just breathe.
Nearly half of teens become sexually active during their high school years. Research suggests that they lack the information needed to protect their health. It is widely supported in the U.S. that sexual education should be taught. 93% of parents support it being taught in middle school, and 96% support it being taught in high school, including topics such as contraception, STDs, puberty, healthy relationships, and sexual orientation. The national, state, and local polls do show similar.
How do I even look at them? I've let them down. They're going to know the instant they look at me. They're going to know something's wrong. Deep breath. Just act like everything's okay. He's going to be so disappointed. He's always calling me his little girl. That's gone. He'll never see me like that again. Just don't look at him.
There's a wide gap between what they should receive in education and what they are actually receiving. In the U.S., there are two approaches. One is comprehensive, which is an evidence-based approach that provides students with medically accurate and age-appropriate information about sexual orientation. There's also an abstinence-only approach, which is morality-based approach that focuses on encouraging students to refrain from engaging in sex until they're married. Now, in the U.S., the government does provide funding for sex education, but it's not mandated at a federal level. So each state has to determine whether public schools are required to teach, while the local boards shape the content and decide when students should learn, when and what students should learn. There are also virginity pledges to prevent teens from having sex. Virgin pledges are part of a wide abstinence movement and can be very controversial. They're formal pledges to not have sex until married. It may help some young people delay the start of sexual activity.
None of this matters anymore. The hours of lessons, practice, awards, all for nothing. It's over. I never thought it would happen to me. This can't be happening.
Sexual education in public schools excludes the LGBTQ community. It's failing to accurately teach students about sex and sexual orientation. Pregnancy and STDs are far too high, particularly amongst these students. There's no current nationwide standard for sex education across America. Largely, it's abstinence only. There's an inability to include gay people. Identity and gender orientation issues are not included in sexual education programs.
He doesn't know, and I hate him for not knowing. I want to go back to what it was like before I knew. I want to still believe in a future. I'm stuck in this nightmare. How am I even going to tell him?
Some southern states require only negative information about same-sex relationships to be taught. LGBTQ are half as likely to use birth control. 3 times as likely to get pregnant or get someone pregnant, and more likely to use drugs or alcohol before sexual encounters. They are not being taught safe sex. We should be focusing on the emotional, psychosocial, or economical impacts of what happens when youth and adolescents engage in sexual intercourse.
Nothing I couldn't handle. We really liked each other. There was something I hadn't felt before. In that moment, it felt real, and it felt right. I should have seen it. I knew better. I've been taught better. If only I could go back.
It's hard to get legislation behind comprehensive sex education. It makes lawmakers uncomfortable to campaign on controversial topics. There's a war between the religious right and the secular left. Much dispute about sex education and how it should be taught. This needs to go beyond sex education. Schools need to talk about relationships, caring, and consent as part of a comprehensive approach to sex education. Giving a foundation in relationship building and caring for others can enhance the well-being and pave a way for healthy relationships. Also, children born to adolescent mothers generally perform poorly on school readiness assessments than their peers do, and than their adult mothers. Why, do you ask? Because there's less education, they tend to drop out, there's poverty, family and neighborhood instability. So with these multi-general effects on adolescent motherhood and teens, they're more likely to get pregnant themselves. I found this to be an interesting topic. I had a friend in high school get pregnant, and she had a very difficult time trying to decide what to do. She felt a lot of stigma amongst her family and peers.
Why should I feel guilty? It's my body, my life, and just a bunch of cells.
I think it's really important for sex education to be taught at an early age to boys and girls. There was some discussion whether boys should be taught separately than girls, and maybe at a younger age they should. But as they get older, I think that they can be in the same room and being taught and educated together on the subject. I think teenagers who do become pregnant should be more supported by their family and by the community, so there's not that stigma attached. If they do decide to keep the baby, they can continue going to school without feeling that all eyes are on them. And if teens do decide not to keep the baby, then that's their own personal choice. But the education should be there for everybody. Thank you.